For the past week, I used the oldest currently supported iPhone on iOS 18. Part of it is to prove a point that overconsumerism is a very real thing in the tech space, but another part is to encourage people to keep their phones for longer than the 2-year upgrade cycle that we have all been programmed into. This is that journey. Day 1 started normally. I swapped SIM cards and put my iPhone 12 mini away to only use this phone for a week. The biggest thing I'm looking at during this week is whether or not iOS 18 ruins this device like so many other devices in the past, looking specifically at the iPhone 4S and iOS 9. The silicon is obviously a lot better on the 10S, but the software continues to demand more and more resources. So we are currently at the end of day 1 here, and so far the phone has worked fantastic, and that's just like the magic of iOS, is I put my SIM card in, signed into iCloud, and then all of my stuff was just sort of there. Photos, text messages, apps, everything. So we're here tonight, my wife and I, at the Trans-Siberian Organ, am I pointing at it? And we're gonna test out the iPhone XS Max. We have a 2x zoom and a 1x zoom camera, so we're gonna see how it does in like a lower lighting concert environment to see how it looks.
That card is flying.
That guy's flying. So we're gonna test out the rear cameras to see how they hold up in a lower light environment. Given that this phone is twice as old as my child, my oldest child, I think it should still hold up pretty well though. The rear cameras still hold up fantastic. The video looks great. And this is with non-optimal lighting. Obviously not as nice as an iPhone 16, but given this phone is 7 years old, it still looks great. My biggest complaint is that you do not get the option to select the 2X or 1X. We only get the one button that switches between the two. The front-facing camera, however, not great. While the models are gorgeous, the lighting and photo wasn't fantastic. But outside in the sun, it actually looks pretty good. Also, look at this lady creeping in the back. Isn't that hilarious? Day 3, 0 complaints so far, other than the fact that the screen is like so big and so beautiful. I actually feel myself using my phone a little bit more and more each day, and I think that's to be expected on such a gorgeous display. The 6.5-inch OLED screen is honestly fantastic. It was fantastic when it came out, and it's still fantastic now. Just be aware of these big screen phones because they're addicting. So we are headed to the gym today, and at this point in the challenge, quote unquote, it's not a challenge. At this point in the video, I must say, I think so far this has been one of my favorite phones that I've had the pleasure and privilege of testing out because it's just so good. It does everything I expect it to do, and it does it without any hiccups. And I don't understand. I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, why are we just constantly upgrading? And I don't know. It's this phone works fantastic. Having tested out a lot of older, cheaper phones, I can tell you that one of the best ways to manage your phone is to buy a newer one and keep it for 5 to 6 years, or buy a slightly older phone and use it until it loses support. My argument is that these older phones are still great, and to be wary about the newer phones because of how good they are. And listen to this stat from the Colin and Samir show.
The average American spent 2.5 months on their phone in 2024. Approximately 5 hours and 1 minute daily on their phone.
I'll leave you with this. Don't let your life pass you by because some tech company hacked your brain and made you addicted to their app. Your life matters. The only thing about this phone is I'm missing the wider angle. Even the 1X is a little bit more zoomed in than I'm used to. I wish we had the 0.5 as an option, but it is 12:11 a.m., so midnight, and I'm currently at 77%, and I want to do a full day in the life battery test. So 77%. I wish I was at 100, but I kind of forgot to charge it. So I'm not going to charge it overnight, and we're gonna see just how long into tomorrow it can go. So it is the next morning, and I'm currently at 57%, 8:58 in the morning. So that's not great. All I've done was I watched my new video to make sure that it's still good, and it was fantastic, so you should check that out here. So losing 20% overnight isn't great. It's actually some of the worst I've seen when testing out one of these phones. But we'll see how this goes throughout the entire day, and we'll see how far 59% battery can take. I want to give you a quick update on where we are at. It is currently 1:21 in the afternoon, and we are at 14% battery. To be fair, I've actually been on my phone a decent amount today, especially for me. It's been kind of slow at work, so I've been watching some videos, using Notion a lot, I just posted a video, so I've been checking YouTube Studio a lot. So I've been using my phone, but I haven't been using it like that much. And so I'm not super surprised that the battery life isn't that good. I thought that with the larger battery, we would have a better success, but all in all, it's not that bad. I just think that you have to charge it overnight. You might need to bring a charger wherever you go. It is 5:10 p.m. Work just let out, and we are currently at 1% battery. So suffice to say, it's close to all day battery. I mean, obviously I went all day like starting at midnight because I like to test that, but I'm not super impressed with it. I've had more impressive battery lives, and that's like sort of the culmination of this phone. Is the problem is that this phone costs so much money, and through it all, there are just better options for the same price or less, and everything about them are pretty much better than this one. So for the first time since I've been doing this challenge, I've really noticed that the age of this phone. When I'm using Siri or when I'm opening an app that I opened like 5 minutes ago and I go back to it, it closes. Everything's always closed. I'm constantly reopening apps. I basically have to reopen an app every time I open up my phone, which is weird because it did that on the 10, but that was running an iOS, that was iOS 16. And I think maybe iOS 18 is just too demanding for this. Like, would this phone be better off if it got one less year of support, but it was still on iOS 17? I don't know. So it is day 9 of using this phone, more than 7. I think ultimately what it comes down to for me is if you can get this phone for the right price, it's a solid buy. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm probably gonna push you towards a 2022 iPhone SE or like even a 12 Pro if you want a bigger screen, something like that. This phone is just, it's too expensive and it's on its last year of support. Thanks for watching. See you next one. Peace.